Hi guys, I want to be as honest as possible with viewers because it may appear that Britain will be in a better position as a direct consequence of Brexit when it comes to not electric vehicles themselves, but the mineral that is required in the manufacturing of the battery. Here Lewis Lukens, a former diplomat at the US Embassy in London, explained how as part of the Inflation Reduction Act and the push to help US manufacturers build more electric vehicles, the US government is looking to sign trade deals with countries around the world, and post-Brexit Britain may be in a position ahead of the EU. Have a listen.
What do we know about the critical minerals agreement? And can we sort of break that apart a little bit and just discuss exactly what are they talking about when they talk about
under the Inflation Reduction Act, which was passed, was Biden, the legislation that Biden signed last August, electric vehicles sold in America qualify for tax credits. They get a $3,750 tax credit if they're assembled in North America, but they also get a $3,750 tax credit if the critical minerals in the battery come from certain countries.
Right.
So the UK will never, cars made in the UK will never qualify for the first piece of that, but there's an opportunity for them to qualify for the second part. The countries that are included are countries with which the United States has a free trade agreement. Obviously, we don't with the United Kingdom. So what countries have been pushing for are sort of very narrow, focused agreements that just focus on critical minerals. US signed one with Japan a few months ago, is in discussions already with the United Kingdom to sign one here, is also in talks with the European Union on that. I think the European Union will probably progress slower than talks with the United Kingdom because the United Kingdom...
Because it's just one nation.
It's just one nation, right. So I think we'll see that happen probably fairly quickly, and that will allow British-made electric vehicles that meet those battery component requirements to qualify for the tax credit and presumably sell more cars in the United States.
Okay, this is a Brexit benefit. I'm being honest here, and I'm not taking anything away from that. This is a Brexit benefit. The only problem with it is that it's extremely niche. Now, I don't know what percentage of electric cars will use this type of material. Maybe it's all electric cars, I don't know. But if we look at exports for 2021, the UK exported 705,000 vehicles, cars. 16% went to the US, while 55% went to the EU. So the biggest market, of course, being the EU. The US is second, but it's a much smaller market for UK-produced vehicles. But this is general cars. If we break it down to the next level, and I don't actually have data for 2021, just 2022, 37% of electric vehicles were exported. So 37% of exports, were electric vehicles. Now, once again, you have to break that down between US and EU. And of course, majority will be going to the EU, with a minority, a smaller percentage going to the US. So yes, and of course, this number is going to increase over the next number of years because there's a shift away from internal combustion engine vehicles to electric vehicles. So this number will increase, and this is a Brexit benefit. I'm being honest here, this is a Brexit benefit. The UK is probably in a much more favorable position than the EU when it comes to signing this very narrow agreement on this specific issue, on these critical minerals. But the problem here is, Brexit, yes, is there's a benefit here for Brexit, but the consequences of Brexit sort of undo that benefit, because when we look at electric vehicles, the majority of electric vehicles produced in the UK that are exported to the EU, and the UK has to follow rules of origin. So it will have to have batteries produced in the UK. So it can't rely just on these critical materials. It has to rely on producing batteries to avoid rules of origins problems as a consequence of the TCA. So the UK has to produce more in the UK if it wants to avoid those problems. And at the moment, we're not seeing real investment in battery technology. There has been some, but a lot of it has collapsed. So the Tories and the future governments need to invest in battery technology, encourage it to be manufactured in the UK for export into the EU, but they can rely on this critical material that can be used in batteries to benefit, in a sense, for this tax credit in the US. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think about all of this. As always, your comments are greatly appreciated. Thanks a lot.